Okay. So your question was again, can you please repeat?
Sure.
Hmm.
Sure. So one of the things that is mentioned in the video is like the universe is not real, it's a dream, it's an illusion. So the question that comes up for me is then why should one strive towards having good values if it's a dream? Why not pass through it just like that? And why does one have to be a conscious observer? What are the characteristics of a conscious observer? How is it defined in the literature and research that you have done?
Okay. So regarding the first question, it's a very good question. So that is often somebody actually when they saw this video also, they asked me, so how you can be whatever you want. It is just an illusion, right? So why bother about values? So there is one important distinction between dream world and this universe, which is also an illusion. So this dream world is governed by rules, you know. So if you want to get out of this illusion, what you need to do is you need to practice certain things. And one of the basic things you need to practice is good values, being prayerful. How do you get out of this dream? You are stuck in this dream. How do you get out of it? Your mind should reach a certain level of maturity where you are able to realize that this is actually a dream. Even though I've told you it's a dream, even though I've read it all my life, I can never really live it. Like, can we live our life like this is a dream? It's not possible because our mind is still caught up in so many negative things. You know, the thousands of years of births have trained our mind not to appreciate this fact. So in order for us to be able to appreciate this fact and get out of this cycle of illusion, we need to train our mind. And one of the things we need for training our mind is all the values which our religion talks about, like honesty, integrity, good character, all those things. So if you don't practice these things, you will get more and more caught up in this dream. That is how Vedanta describes it. That's why it's important, all those qualities which we and you remember in that video I said, when you murder somebody in your dream, you will not be prosecuted when you're awake, but in your dream you will be prosecuted. So you will go to jail in your dream. So if you murder somebody and when they send you to jail, you say, this is just an illusion. I didn't do it. I'm sleeping. Okay, you're only sleeping. You can sleep in your jail, they'll say. So that's the distinction between as long as you are in this world, in this reality, you need to abide by the rules of this reality. Yeah. And what is the conscious observer also, you asked, right? So that is Vedanta has a different explanation and physics has a different explanation. Physics has still not been able to determine fully what is a conscious observer. See, for example, our level of consciousness is different from a bacteria's level of consciousness. So is it the same? Can a bacteria be considered a conscious observer? See, that question is not answered by physics. They're still grappling with it. But Vedanta has an answer for it. So according to Vedanta, the purpose of the universe is to create beings, conscious being. And conscious being is any living being, according to Vedanta. And why do we come into this world? Why are we in this world? Each of us, because of our, like you said, no, we practice some values, we don't practice some values. All these gives punyam and papam. And that you have to exhaust it in this illusion. And as you exhaust it, you collect more such things, and next illusion you'll have to get into. So every being, every living being, according to Vedanta, is a conscious entity. And this universe is created for them, for conscious beings.
Okay, all right. I think you have a few more questions in the chat box as well. Yeah.
Can I ask, like, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, madam. Madam, namaste. My name is Suma.
Hi, Suma.
Hi. Madam, you said like this whole world and everything is illusionary. I think keeping this in mind, Pujya Shankaracharya ji said the same thing, no? Is this the same thing, or what he said is different and what you are telling is different, or it is same?
See, that's what I have connected what quantum physics says to what Pujya Shankaracharya ji told about the whole universe being an illusion. See, this conclusion physics has not yet drawn. They can understand that world is not real. They have come to a state where they have realized world is not real. An observer is required to bring the universe into existence. Beyond that, there is no clarity on why or what why this world is the way it is. Yeah, tell me, Suma.
Madam, again, Pujya Madhvacharya ji said it's a contradictory statement, Madam. Shankaracharya said, no, it's an illusionary world. But Madhvacharya said, no, it is real, but observer is separate and real is separate. How you connect both? Madam?
Yeah, I am not from the Madhvacharya Vishishtadvaita school of thought.
Okay,
My whole life I've only learned Shankara's philosophy,
Shankaracharya.
but I've heard a lot about it because whenever I put these videos, I get response from Dvaitas and Vishishtadvaitas saying, no, all the three are real according to Madhvacharya, according to Vishishtadvaita. That is not what I learned. So I don't know how I can comment on that, how I can reconcile those differences.
Okay.
So, but what I found between these two philosophies, no, at the basic level, what you have to do to get liberation, no, there is not much difference. You have to practice value, you have to practice surrender, you have to have faith. All those steps are same. So what I tend to think is we are still in that LKG level. So whether or not at the highest level, what is the reality? I think only when we get there, we need to debate. Because at the basic level, the things we have to do to get out of this illusionary world, the cycle of birth and death, are same, both by Madhvacharya and Shankaracharya. Their recommendations are the same. Only at the final stage, what is moksha, that definition is different. Even Buddhism defines it differently. But we have a long way to go to get there, right?
Madam, you think like these people, like these acharyas have reached that level? I think they are.
Nobody can really say, see, the thing is, one thing is to know something in theory. Like, for example, I'm telling you, this is the theory. So whether I'm a realized soul, I can only tell. I can tell you I am not, because still there is all this attachments and this thing are still bogging me down. Only a realized person can tell whether or not they are realized. It's the journey of the mind, right? So it's very hard to tell from even Janaka, who is a king, was supposed to be a realized person. So it's a journey of our mind, and each of us looking inside us only can say that, can really decide where we are in this journey.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah,
My question is over.
Thank you. Any other question? Somebody has a question. Einstein once said, "Did you really believe moon is not there when you are not looking at it? Is this context request to clarify?" Okay. So the question was, Einstein is supposed to have read about quantum physics, the theory that world is not real, that nothing really exists until it is observed. And he made this statement of, how can you say something as stupid as this? Do you think moon does not exist when you're not seeing it? Do you think, how is that possible? It doesn't make any logical sense. That was his argument. But then now with this proof, as we progress, we are finding more and more that quantum physics is real. That in fact, the world is an illusion. It is not real. So his thing has been proven again and again. The things don't exist when it is not observed. Any other question? Let me see. Will Schrodinger equation help to find out probability of a particle's existence at a particular place? Yes, Schrodinger's equation is used for that only. Existence of particles, how not existence of a particle. Now, do you remember the model of an atom we learned in school? We have the nucleus at the center and all these electrons revolving around it. But later, when we go to 12th standard and engineering, the model changes. The shape of the orbit is not the circle. It will be in the form of infinity. It will be in different forms. It will look as though it's going through the nucleus. Do you remember that model of the atom? That line which you see, is actually the probability function. If you see, it will be almost in the form of an 8, the path of the electron. Why the center thing is so small is there is very little probability that will appear in the center. And the external thing is very large, the curve, which means that's the highest probability of the electron being present there. So even at this level of structure of our atom, they can only define the position of an electron in terms of probabilities of where it can be found. They cannot give the exact path of an electron within an atom. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
What will be the material impact of this discovery in the day-to-day world? Will it lead to some changes in the way, for instance, the industry looks at things, or governments look at things? Is it likely to have that kind of influence? Is
Actually,
it so momentous, is what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, actually, the theoretical physics, when you look at it, Einstein's theory of relativity, what practical use it had, most people thought. But finally, now we are having GPS, this communication system is based on theory of relativity. So it takes a lot of time for it to get into a practical level. Now quantum computers are use the entangled particles. They work based on entangled particles. So all these, although they look like very theoretical and does not have any practical application, once you get to understand how things work, it almost like eventually you get practical applications of these things. So now quantum computers are one of the best examples. They will change the speed of computing to order of magnitude higher than what our current computers work. So that's completely based on quantum physics. But in terms of attitude of people, I cannot say. We know Vedanta for thousands of years, but still people are just the same. So that no amount of knowledge can really guarantee mental transformation, I think. But in terms of tangible material things, definitely we'll see a lot of changes because of what we are finding in quantum physics.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, there's another message. Let me see. So can the perspective that God is also an illusion stand valid in the context of this discussion? That is a very interesting question, and it's a question which is asked in Vedanta very often. So what is God? According to Vedanta, see, again, I am not talking about Vishishta Advaitam, where everything is real. According to Vedanta, who is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva? According to Vedanta, they are Padavis. So I told you there is this world of illusion and there is Brahman who's outside this world of illusion. So inside this world, inside this universe, which is real to us, although it is only an illusion from a Brahman's point of view, which is real to us, we are limited, right? This body and mind is limited. Our ability to, our destiny is not in our control. We don't know the future. We are not omniscient and omnipresent. How much ever people say you are Brahman, you are the consciousness principle, our day-to-day experience in this world of illusion is our limitedness. So in this limited world, there is also another entity called God, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, who have much better equipment than we have in terms of their ability to see the world in the terms of their ability to change the workings of the world. So God exists only in this world of illusion. So Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are as much a part of this Maya as we are. So only that's why a liberated person is considered greater than Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva in Advaita Vedanta. Because within the world, I am limited, but there is also an unlimited power called God, whom you can seek, whom you can reach out to. I think somebody, Mr. Lakshmi Devi Anbaragan, request you to please go on mute. Yeah. So that is this thing. As long as you are going to identify with this body and mind, you need a God to whom you can surrender, who can guide you, who can help you navigate the ups and downs of the world. But once you are liberated, you don't need anybody. You don't need God. That is this thing of Vedanta. I'm again, I want to be careful here because this is not what other philosophies like Vishishta Advaita and all says, but Advaita Siddhanta says this. Gods are also part of this Maya. Gods are also part of this Maya. You need them for navigating the world of Maya. But outside Maya, all are same. Everything is Brahman.
So God is also a conscious observer. Who does he observe? These are just questions that come.
So what, HP, if you look at it, see, why are we able to experience the world in a certain way? Because there is a limitation in our body and mind. You cannot become a weightlifter. You cannot become Miss Universe. Your ability to think is also limited, because to function in this world, there is some instruments which you have been given, right? So what is God? God is a person with a very, very powerful instrument, much more powerful than us. So their ability to change the course of the world and universe is much greater. So like we can make small impact to our surrounding, but people like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, they can create the whole world. They can lay down the rules of the world. They can, like when you do like when you do papam, who gives the result for the papam? There is a, like the prime minister, the amount of the thing which a prime minister can do, you cannot do, right? Their power is much more. Their ability to wield the system is much more, right? So it is like a very big level prime minister padavi. So actually in Advaita, anybody can become Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva by doing certain level of austerities, high level of austerities. They say the next Brahma is going to be Hanuman.
Yes.
So it's like a padavi which you can acquire.
Yes.
Like how anybody can become prime minister, anybody can become Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, as per Advaita Siddhanta. You have a certain kind of things which you have to do, austerity and a certain level of punyam which you have to accumulate to get to that padavi. But it is just a padavi. I know it sounds very, what to say, not something easy to digest, but that's what Advaita says.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
That is just a padavi, correct.
Yeah.
Madam, in a quantum physics, like there is something called quantum superpositioning, right? In that,
correct.
In that, they say that particle, it moves so fast. Wherever we touch, we can find that particle. See, one particle, we'll take example of electrons. It moves so fast, wherever we touch, it will be there.
So it's like an omniscient entity.
So is that God? Like God, wherever we touch, because we are surrounded by God, and wherever we touch or wherever we see, like we see God, something like that.
See, I know about quantum superposition, but I'm not able to record the exact details as of now. But with respect to God, there are two ways of looking at it. See, when you look at the dream analogy, when if the whole world is a dream, so the whole world exists within you, right? And everything in your dream is you. So that is what you mean by God from an Advaitic point of view. Everything that exists is God, because it is within Brahman. Every object you see is Brahman. That is why you cannot reject anything. Even punyam and papam are considered equally bad from an Advaita point of view, because both of them bind you, right? And everything is God. So you cannot reject anything and say this is not God as far as Advaitam is concerned. And if you take Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Shakti, God, that how we define that God is a all-powerful entity within the world of illusion. Now, we are created as limited objects within this world. No, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are created as all-powerful entities who can govern the working of this universe. So, like we are the praja and they are the king. King sets the rules. The king determines who gets punished, who gets promoted, right? Like that. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and in that sense, they have omniscience, because their ability to govern, they have the ability to govern the entire workings of the universe. So there are two different gods we have to think about this context.
Madam, somewhere I read that, sorry, I'm taking all the time.
No problem, go ahead.
Somewhere I read that, if we take atom as God, like in the sense Brahma, Vishnu, if we can correlate that, outside part is Shiva and inside is Vishnu, and the attached neutral part is Brahma, which is attached to Vishnu. Somewhere I read that.
Oh, okay.
And outside electrons, which is moving, they correlate that to as Shiva. And when it gets Shakti, it will move to higher level.
Okay. No, in Advaita, the entire material world is Maya. It is Shakti. It is Maya. There is no Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva in this thing. According to Advaita, the entire material world is Maya only. Yeah. So you don't distinguish between individual parts as this is Shiva, this is Shakti. The entire material world is Maya. Yeah.
Archana, I have one question, but it's not related to the video. It's a little bit going behind the scenes of the work that you do. You tend to come up with these videos and the research that goes into it. Always when you talk about science, God, and the intersection of it, which is most of your content, there'll also be some controversial questions you get, or like, comments that you get. How do you prepare yourself for it, or how is there any instance that you have come across where it was very challenging, or anything you want to recall around that? When you
I think so far, God's grace, I think HP people have been very kind. Only resistance where I face is from Vishishta Advaitam people. They feel that it is this this concept of Brahman being everything and you being Brahman is not acceptable. So that is where I find a lot of resistance. But overall, it's been very like I've received only good response from people. I think God has been very kind. I'm also waiting. When will I get trolled? But it's not happening as of now. Because everybody talks about how terrible this trolling experience is. So far, I have not faced those challenges.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of courage to put out your thoughts in a public.
So you want memes, Archana? I can create that.
No. Actually, when before I did this video, I did a series called God and Science. In that, I did a 3-part series about quantum physics and Vedanta. And in that, if you see, I have not explicitly made this connection like how I made this connection in this video, because I was very nervous on what people will say. There was one person in one of the videos, they commented, what nonsense, things coming into existence only when you observe it. What are you smoking or something like that, they asked. So I was little scared to explicitly make that connection in that video. It is all implied in that video. If you watch those videos, you will find. But now, as I progressed making many videos, I've got the confidence to be able to explicitly state it now, I feel. Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
One comment from me. Vaidehi here.
Tell me, Vaidehi, madam.
So I've been watching your videos. I became your friend also and fan
yes.
also. So to understand your video, we need to have a science background and excellent Vedantic background. Then we'll be able to appreciate your videos in a very well manner. But only thing, Saras asked what is the application. So I see the application not in the science. You are creating interest in the youngsters to come into spiritual studies. So that is the greatest contribution your contents are giving. So that's a comment from me, and keep doing this work. Even if you get any resistance or anything, wherever it's possible, you may be able to explain. Otherwise, thank you. Good luck for other philosophy.
Thank you so much, Vaidehi. It's people like you who keep me motivated. Thank you so much. When I did this video also, I was not sure whether people will understand it, because as you said, both quantum physics and Advaita, you should have little understanding to be able to make the connection well. But I was so surprised at the response. So many people, this is the largest, so quickly I've got so many views in this video, which just goes to show that we should not underestimate other people. Like people are able to understand, however complex the subject.
Yeah, I see like Haripriya youngsters are coming and questioning, then she will go back to spiritual studies and all. So that is the impact these videos are creating. Definitely.
Thank you so much, Vaidehi.
God bless you, Archana. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
But madam, how you think like West world will accept this? Because our own people sometimes see, our own people, they don't want to accept and they don't want to understand, they don't want to accept. But how you convince the West world?
See, the thing is, if you see all these quantum physicists, when the atom bomb was first tested, Oppenheimer quoted from Bhagavad Gita, the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Vishwarupam. I become the death, Mrutyosmi, I don't remember the verse. I become the death destroyer of all the three worlds. In the Vishwarupam, he tells, no, that sloka he quoted. And even Schrodinger and other people have said that if you understand Vedanta, you'll really get to understand quantum physics very well. And there is a idol of Nataraja in CERN, because
yes, I've seen that.
Nataraja is a very good artistic representation of the dance of atoms, dance of subatomic particles. There's a book called Tao of Physics written by another Western physicist.
Yes.
See, intellectual subjects, madam, I feel there will always be only a small number of takers for it. So whether it is in our own country or whether it's in any other country, people who really understand will understand. Like in Gita, there is a quote, no? Yaf pashyati cha pashyati. Those who see, see. Just because you have eyes, you don't see, right? You have to have the vision. So I don't think it is meant for like it's not like a masala movie where everybody can watch. That's why we have also. That's why I think we have also lower levels of, not exactly lower level things. Our religion has given a platform for everybody to access it at different levels. There is bhakti, there is philosophy, there is rituals, there is kshetradam. So many options are there. So it is a journey, like how you evolve from a caterpillar to a butterfly. We have to go through the evolution. We can't jump to this point. And we can never expect it to be a mass movement where everybody accepts and understands. But those who know it and those who understand the subject will be open to it.
Yes.
For example, if you take this video also, people who understand it will be able to, the way they approach the questions and way they approach the criticism is different from people who dismiss it completely. People criticizing with ignorance is different from people criticizing with knowledge. You can see the difference there, right?
But can we say proudly that we are the first to discover all these things? This quantum physics nowadays, with technology, they are discovering. But thousands of years back, we did that. Can we say proudly that?
Yeah, that is something which is amazing.
Claim that?
Yeah, we can, of course, claim that, I feel. Because if you look at it, madam, it is such a hard thing to, like now with so many years of physics, they're claiming that the world is an illusion, and still it is so hard to wrap your mind around it. But thousands of years back, without any research equipment, without anything, they could make this statement. When I was a child, when I first started learning Vedanta, that's what fascinated me. I mean, you cannot imagine it. It's not something you can imagine. You have to have had the knowledge to be able to come up with such a philosophy, right? Imagine claiming the world is an illusion. No, and with such confidence and with such logic, only if you knew you could have done it. It's not something which could have happened by fluke. So that is something which we can really be proud of, I think, madam. But at the same time, nowadays, I have a lot of objection to the way some people defend our religion, like we knew everything, we were omniscient, omnipresent. It is one thing approaching it from a place of knowledge. Just like a fanatic, like many people approach it from a place of ignorance. Everything that happened, we knew. Everything that the world has discovered, we knew that time. I think that kind of claim is not healthy, because we will then be dismissed. If we can come from a place of knowledge and understanding, it is a very good way. Anybody we can approach and explain things. But if you, in one fell swoop, if people can dismiss what you're saying, you're reducing your credibility. That's what is happening. I think as a culture, we were not meant. Nobody asked us to give blind devotion. Nobody, even Krishna didn't want that. That's why all our scriptures are structured as question and answers. People have to ask. You have to debate. Tarka was such an important aspect of our religion, and we kept on absorbing the good of every religion. Buddha spent all his life criticizing our rituals, Vedic rituals, idol worship, and we made him our avatar. He was one of the avatars of Vishnu. That's because as a policy, we respected knowledge. We valued that scientific spirit, that curiosity, the ability to question. And now I feel that we have become so insecure that thing, the ability to question, is getting lost. Anybody who questions, it's either you're on my side or you're against me. And I don't think as a culture we were ever like that. That is what is saddening for me.
Yes.
May I,
sorry, sir. Sorry.
May I put in a word?
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Yeah, my personal experience goes like this. It's not so much as the knowledge, but I think moments of experience. Something happens and you see things very differently. It might have been induced in a dream, or it might be something that happened to you, which you can't quite explain, except by this riddle called that everything is nothing. No, there's a shunya. And then I feel, I can't claim to be a jnani or anything, but there have been some instances in my life where I saw it in a particular way, and I'm not able to unsee it now. Then it becomes a kind of a permanent conviction, and then you wait for a news like what you gave, that the Nobel laureate discovered something. I had the notion at that time, and now there is somebody who comes along and concurs with it. And that is not knowledge, it is experience. You know, it is things happen to you, and you can't explain except by Advaita, what it tells you. And when that happens, you're waiting for concurrence, and then you keep shut, because you don't go around sharing your experience and trying to convince others that have this experience. They can't have that experience until it happens to them. It could be an experience in a dream of a young child. It could have happened to you. You probably rang through. But it rings true when you have personal experience in real life that cannot be explained by all the physical phenomena that you know. And then you begin to grope, and somebody comes along and puts it in words. You know, quantum physics, there's space between. Most of the world is space between particles. It's empty. And then when you begin to hear that, most people can jive with it, and then they stay with it. And happiness is knowing that more and more people concur with what you experienced, and then you get more comfortable. That's my 2 bits, if I may say.
That's right. So there's a distinction between our personal spiritual journey and the need for everybody to agree with us. That is 2 different things altogether. None of the people all the jnanis, I don't think they ever craved for the kind of like what you see on the internet, that everybody should agree with me, and my ego depends on people agreeing with everything about our religion. That is, I am a deeply religious. I think of myself as a deeply religious person, but I disagree with certain things which about our some of the dogmas that exist in our religion. That doesn't make me a heretic. No, now it has become like that you cannot disagree with anything that your religion says, and everything that religion says is perfect. That's how people are tending to approach it. And I think that has not been our culture from the beginning. We always accepted, assimilated, and that is the reason that we are the oldest surviving religion in the world. Once we become rigid and inflexible and unwilling to adopt new ideas, and I think we are itself sounding a death knell for this culture, I feel.
Madam, this quantum physics nowadays, they are using technology, machinery, everything to find out what is quantum, right?
Yeah.
But thousands of years back, our rishis, they found out this quantum, that world is illusionary through their tapasya, just meditation.
Yes.
Is it possible?
I must have been. Otherwise, how would it have happened? How is it possible that so much they have accumulated this knowledge? First, now quantum physics has only proved that world is an illusion. You are Brahman. It has not come to that part yet. That's how people found out, no? And according to Advaita, you can't do it by any objective. You cannot do it through scientific experiment. You have to do it only through meditation. Because Brahman can never be an object of experience, according to Advaita. So I think we have, as far as science has come, I think it has reached this point. I don't know whether it will ever come to a point where it says you are Brahman.
So our Rishi's mind was laboratory.
That is true.
So it's we who inside human body, everything is there. If we know how to use it properly, we can just discover anything. That is
That's
the
true.
base, I think.
That is true. Let me switch on the fan.
Ashna?
Yeah.
Hey, see, the very good session, Ashna.
Thank you, Akka. Thank you. That's
According
my
to
sister-in-law.
one question, Ashna.
Uh,
According to Schrodinger, if two
uh,
atoms approaching each other and if we find more electrons in between them, the
Mm.
bonding is more. Okay.
mm,
So similarly, if I imagine God is a particle and I am a conscious observer, and if I do continuous meditation, will I able to realize the God? Can you relate, Ashna?
See, that's what I don't know the answer to this question, Akka. You should actually a person only who has done the meditation and been able to experience it will be able to answer this question.
Okay, okay.
Sorry.
So you are practicing now. That's why I asked. Okay, Ashna. Thank you.
Thank you, Akka. Thank you.
I think that is the reason Rishi said, like, you can't show God to somebody else, like other people. You have to experience it.
That's true.
It's
The
my own
personal
experience.
journey. That's what in Lalita Sahasranamam, one of my favorite name is that Antarmukha Samaradhya Bahirmukha Sudurlabha. You have to look inside yourself to find her. As long as you keep looking outside, you will never find her. It's one of my favorite namas of Devi, of Lalita Devi.
Yeah, actually, a wonderful session, and thanks for the video. Beautiful connect, and we are Facebook friends. Nice to connect here. Like she said, Haripriya ji said, being a yatra person, I have seen the depiction of proton, electron, and neutron as Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva in the Naimisharanyam temples.
Oh, I
So,
see.
yeah, that's very, very interesting. Yeah. So the moment she said, I could relate to it. And again, coming to that Vishishtadvaitam, there's a wonderful analogy of Hanuman's introduction. He says, when you look at me as this deha, I am a dasa. So sharira, so the stula level, I am the dasa. When you look at me as a jiva, I am your sakha. And when you look at me as the atma, the soul, I am you. So
Yes. That is Advaitam. No, how is it?
Absolutely. So
that
the
is
connect
Advaitam.
is one, the first is Dvaitam, the second is Vishishtadvaitam, and the third is Advaitam.
I see.
And yeah, beautiful analogy you find in a fruit. When you hold the fruit in your hand, it's Dvaitam. When you eat it, so the juice in your digestive system, within your system, it is Vishishtadvaitam. And once it's digested and the rasam is, it becomes you, that fruit becomes you, it is Advaitam. So the
Very
journey,
nice.
that's the journey of a seed, which is the pure consciousness in the potential form. As it tries to articulate and moves into the kinetic mode, being the Shakti, and there it merges within the self after the expansion, evolution, goes into an involution mode and becomes the consciousness again.
Oh, so the ultimate destination is Advaitam. Is that the conclusion?
That's the journey.
Yeah,
absolutely. That it's even if you see Yoga Sutras, that's what is happening. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. In Dharana stage, the mango is outside. In Dhyana stage, the concept of the rasa is inside. And then the Samadhi is where you become the consciousness. You cannot ask that person because he's become the conscious. He is not here to tell you anything. So the moment you become a conscious person, you're it. Then there is no communication. Yes, I'm the consciousness. There's no Advaita to tell you. There is no Dvaita to tell you. I experience the consciousness. You become the consciousness. So that's why we are all blessed because we know there's a goal and there's a beauty there, and we are able to experience the bliss even though we are yet to reach the consciousness. And like you said, those stratas where even Brahma, the next world's Brahma will be the Vyavaharika Satyam. In that, the beauty is in this Vyavaharika Satyam, the Devas don't have an opportunity to enjoy the bliss. They are all assigned tasks. maintain the mountain, maintain the forest, maintain the rivers, and they are stuck in their roles and responsibilities. So we are the blessed ones where we can celebrate all of this and enjoy having the satsang, getting into proving, reasoning, and celebrating. Yeah,
Very
that's a
beautiful.
great journey.
Very beautiful.
Wonderful.
Well said.
I really
Beautifully
enjoyed the
said.
session and the interactions of all of you. A great session. Thank you,
Thank you
Archana
so
ji.
much.
Your
Same.
temple vlogs are also excellent. Very well made. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. May I know your name?
Uma Maheshwari.
Uma Maheshwari. Yeah. I know you're my Facebook friend. I've interacted with you.
Yeah, correct. I conduct the mudra sessions, but more of mudra and science.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think that kind of we have really exceeded much more than what we had planned for. Any final questions? Any final thoughts to share? Okay. So in conclusion, I just want to say it's not just in quantum physics that we see this correlation with our philosophy. If you see, even the classic physics like entropy and all other things point to an intelligence and intention behind the creation. There are so many things in physics which cannot be explained merely as a random occurrence. So it is not just that it has taken the entire journey to lead us back to this point where we are realizing all our sages were in fact correct. So it was nice interacting with all of you. Thank you so much for participating. When I scheduled this session, I was not sure if anybody is going to show up. It was so wonderful. All of you came and had such interesting questions to ask. We'll do this regularly, maybe at least once a month. We'll meet up for some sessions.
That's a good idea. We will do it.
Yeah.
And
Very
thank
nice.
you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Nice
Thank
meeting
you.
all of you. Thank you.